and welcome back to my channel, Mary Reads to Live. I am so excited to talk to you guys today about what I've been reading so far in September, because it's been a wonderful reading month. And I want to apologize for it being several weeks since I've posted anything. And part of that is because school has started back up and I've been teaching, and it takes a lot out of me to get started, especially get back into the groove of a routine and things like that. Plus I've been trying to write, so a lot of things have been happening. But I do have some exciting announcements, is that I am going to be in a read-along discussion today, actually at 4:30 Eastern, about Perdido Street Station, which I'm going to start with like what I have been reading. So I'm going to start with Perdido Street Station by China Miéville. I'm on page 506, or section 6 of this book so far, and I absolutely love it. It is interesting. There's interesting elements of science fiction, horror, and body horror to it that makes it perfect for a perfect fall read. Experiment gone wrong and things like that. So I really enjoy this, and I hope that you will enjoy it too. The first book that I read for September for spooky season was The Vampire Hunter D, The Rose Princess, and I had that in my September TBR, and I finished this early September, probably in the first week, and it's very short. It's only like 200 pages, if that. Yeah, it's about 200 pages, and it's really, really good. It is about a vampire hunter named D, who's half vampire himself, and he is going against this noble, which is full-blooded vampire in this story, that is terrorizing a village, but, this village really doesn't want to be saved. They kind of have this symbiotic relationship with this noble, so we're going to see how that plays out, and we have characters who are trying to get revenge, and it's really, really good. The characters are wonderful. The ending is bittersweet. It's something you don't expect. So really good writing. This is translated from Japanese by there we go. Written by Hideyuki Kaikuchi, and it's translated from the Japanese by Kevin Lee. It's translated from the Japanese by Kevin Lee, and that is really good. And it had great illustrations by Yoshitaka Amano, and he's done illustrations throughout all the novels. Even in he started out in Japan doing these illustrations, and they're beautiful, stunning. This is one of his illustrations, like just the cover. I mean, look at that. And we have an illustration here. Where's another illustration? They're all throughout the book. There's not like a whole ton, but they are throughout the book. And look how gorgeous that is. The story is good. It's short. It's a short read. And if you just want a short little vampire hunter story, this is perfect. The translation is really nice. The writing is really good, and is very gothic and good for spooky season. Speaking of gothic, I finished A Dowry of Blood. And A Dowry of Blood is in the perspective of one of a very powerful vampire's bride. And it's all about her toxic relationship with this vampire and how it affects her life and how she ends up taking her life back into her own hands. So it's really a love letter to people who have had to leave a really toxic relationship, but doing it in a very interesting way, bringing it into this vampire lore. In this vampire, they don't really say the name of the powerful vampire, but we're supposed to know, we're supposed to kind of guess that it's, of course, Dracula. So it's Dracula's bride, and it's talking about one of their experience. It's not really about Dracula. It's more about Dracula's brides and how he affects them and what they have to do to survive. How he has really hurt them all in different ways and taken things away from them that brought them joy in their life, and now how they're going to get their lives back. It's kind of like what this is about. So there are a lot of trigger warnings. There's trigger warnings for, and it's at the beginning of the book, so it's not a spoiler, but the trigger warnings are for sexual assault, drug use, and drowning, as well as emotional, verbal, and physical abuse, gaslighting, war, famine, and plague, blood and gore, consensual sex content, sadomasochism, self-harm, body horror, violence and murder, alcohol use, depression, and mania. So there's a lot of trigger warnings, but it is a very, very good read. You were really spend this whole thing being rooting for the bad guys. Really, the vampires. They're not nice. They're not good. They're, of course, they're murderers, so they're not the good guys. But you're still rooting for them, and it's really, really good. So I would pick it up. It's gothic. The writing is gorgeous. And the author is S.T. Gibson. Sorry about that. A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson, and she really does a wonderful job of characterization and everything. And the prose is gorgeous. It's very gothic tale. So if you like gothic, very, very much in that vein. So I suggest picking this up. I enjoyed it 100%. 5 out of 5 stars. And so what am I reading now? Right now I am starting The Return of Adan. The Return of Adan is the third book in the Adan trilogy written by Philip Chase. He was really kind enough to send me a signed copy, and I'm so excited. This is so beautiful. Look at this book. This comes out September 20th. And so I really hope you pick it up. And I've started it, so far I love it. And so I'm also going to be on Philip's channel talking about the return of Adan. So I'm very excited about that. So I really can't wait. I can't wait to discuss this book and the other books. And Philip Chase is a really, really great author. His prose and everything are beautiful, and his storytelling is top notch. So I hope you give it a try. So that's the thing I've been reading. So those are and also I read The Sword of Kaigan. The Sword of Kaigan, I'll put it's not a physical copy, it's right up here. The Sword of Kaigan is about by M.L. Wong. The Sword of Kaigan is about a lot of different things. It is a Japanese-inspired novel about a village that live by the old kind of almost the old samurai code of protecting the empire, and how that affects their lives. And but it also has some fantastical elements to it. So it's like magic. There is kind of a magic in the system, and it's very well done. The characters are beautiful. The writing is gorgeous. So I would really recommend. I would give this 5 out of 5 stars. So this is The Sword of Kaigan by M.L. Wong. I'm also starting another book by M.L. Wong called Blood Over Bright Havens, and that is more of a dark academia, but also still Japanese culture inspired. And that, so far, it's a little bit dark, but it's beautiful. And I'll tell you more about that once I've read the full thing. So thank you very much for being here. That is all that I have read and have continued to read, and I will do another check-in at the end of the month. But thank you so much for joining me, and I really hope that you have been enjoying your reading and the cooler weather. I'm so excited for fall. So if you let me know in the comments below what you have been reading and enjoying and some fall activities you've been doing, I really want to hear it. So thank you for joining me, and as always, have an adventure with reading.